Hey there, welcome back to my tiny shop. I'm feeling very uninspired today, so I hope you bear with me for a bit. Ever have one of those days that you're just not inspired? Well, sometimes when that happens to me, I just really come in here to think. Who knows? Maybe the smell of wood somehow resets my brain. It's one of those really gray Southern California days. Quiet, heavy skies. Even the beach looks very uninspired today. No sunshine, no crowds, just waves trying to look busy. Hmm. And maybe that's okay. Sometimes slowing down is really part of the process, right? Anyways, I didn't really have to wait long to come up with something. I just realized this. Um, my son's friend just moved into a new apartment, and her closet is some weird size. Last week, she asked if I could build her something so she can have some sort of a organization inside the closet. She sent me a picture of the dimensions that she needed on a stock photograph, I guess. It looks a little bit like a regular cart, a barbecue cart actually, with slats in it. But she said I could do whatever I wanted to do, okay, which is both freeing and really dangerous for somebody like me. So I usually start by going through Pinterest or Google Images to start researching, sketching, and overthinking. The usual routine. But I think this time I'm just gonna build exactly what she sent me in the picture. So if you want to see this, stick around and let's go. I always start by rating my wood pile and basically picking out the best out of all of them. The big box stores really like to put these little labels and staples at the end of these wood. I wish they would stop. It's annoying to get it out. I have this tool here. It's a pry bar actually for a car. And it works very well for prying staplers off these things. Here I'm cutting my pieces down to rough size. It'll make it more manageable at the table saw. So step one, I need to clean out one of the edges. And since I don't have a joiner, I usually do this on a table saw. Pretty much close, so good enough for me for now. Next, I'm going to do the exact same thing on one of the edges. That will give me two edges. And since I don't have a planer, the table saw it is again. Now let's check how well I did. Looks good to me. Now let's work on the third side of it. And typically this is done on a table saw. So lucky me, got one of those. I was wondering why the table saw wasn't collecting in a lot of dust. Jeez, I really got to check this more often. Good thing about my system is you just grab another bucket and swap it out. here's a little fun fact for you. Take a Harbor Freight bucket and buy a Home Depot lid, and they are tight as heck. And surprisingly, if you take a Home Depot bucket and a Home Depot lid, they don't fit very well. And if you take a Harbor Freight bucket and a Harbor Freight lid, same thing happens. They don't fit very well. And by the way, a Harbor Freight lid does not work with the Centec or Dust Deputy systems. Amazing how you become expert in some of these things. I am now the resident expert in our home about bucket lids. And there you have it, ready to go do some more milling. So where were we? Oh yeah. So now with 3 sides already milled, we don't need to do the 4th side. Here you see me cutting my pieces down to the right width. And surprise, dust collection is working much better. Isn't that surprising? And before I forget, I need to collect some of these dusts for later use. Sawdust and wood glue make excellent putty. And believe me, I do anticipate to make a lot of mistakes later on. The difference between a good woodworker and a bad woodworker is a good woodworker knows how to fix its mistakes. A bad woodworker just hasn't had enough mistakes. Okay, all stocked up, and let's keep going. Okay, I think that's plenty. Funny thing about wood is even after you milled it, you still see a lot of imperfections. Here, got to go through the same routine. Pick out the best ones, and the bad ones, try to hide them underneath. Here I need to find the center of the board, and since I don't really like math so much, I'll just take the next divisible by 2 number, which in this case is 2, and divide it by 2, and that makes 1. And that's my center. Here I need to cut some rabbets along the long boards that's going to hold the slats together. And since I want the slats to be perfectly flush with them, I use the slats themselves to measure the height of my blade. So before we continue, if you're liking this video so far, please consider pressing that like and subscribe button. It really helps out a small channel like mine. It tells YouTube that other viewers may be interested in my channel. Okay, let's keep going. I'm rounding out one of the edge of the post. The belt sander makes quick work of this, and I don't know what I did before the sander. Notice I taped all 4 of the posts together so they will all have symmetrical corners. Nice and smooth. Boy, I wish you could feel this. Before we remove these tapes, let's cut these legs down to length. This is important that they stay taped together, or else you're going to have a wobbly cart for some reason. Here you see me adjusting the depth stop on my miter saw. I need to create perfect dados on these legs going forward. Because the blade of a miter saw is circular, the part that cuts closest to the fence doesn't actually go straight down. It curves. So if you're trying to cut something that needs a clean square edge all the way through, the saw can't quite reach that back corner. To fix that, I just added a sacrificial board behind the workpiece that pushes it slightly forward so that the blade's arc can finish the cut cleanly. Here you will see me make a few passes to make my dado. Since the teeth of this blade are actually angled, they alternate left and right, which is great for clean cuts, but it also means the bottom isn't perfectly flat. So after the main cuts, I just move the board side to side a bit to knock down those little ridges and get a smooth, flat bottom. Perfect. Now we can finally take off those tapes, temporarily at least. So the first set of dados and rabbets that we did are for the cross beams that will connect the two legs together. So the next set of dados that we're going to do are actually going to connect the stretcher between the two sides of the cart. And for that, we have to make sure that at least two of them are facing each other. And once we're satisfied, we break out the blue tape and tape them all together again. And here is just another rinse and repeat of cutting the dados. And here we're doing a quick dry fit and realizing that we need a small notch cutout so that the stretchers would fit perfectly. Nothing a good chisel won't do. So here we go, bang away. Okay, next we need to make sure all our boards are the same length. Should have done this a lot earlier, but we're here now. Looks like we're not. So I'll just tape this up. A quick cut on the miter saw and that takes care of the problem. And speaking of mistakes, earlier I had a mistake on one of my cuts. So to fix that, I just inserted a piece of wood that was the same size as the curve of my blade. I glued it together and now just need to trim it off with my flush trim saw and it'll be good as new, I hope. Next we'll be focusing on a dry fit. This will tell us what our final measurements are between the cross beams and the slats. And for mistake number 2, $16.5. So we either have half too much here and we're half short here. Since there's a lot of this, I'm not gonna worry, I'm not gonna deal with that. I'm going to probably just extend this by another 1/2 inch. Okay, let's work on that. So to fix it, I'm gonna cut about 6 short pieces that I'm gonna glue to the end of each one of them. We are good. Now that our dry fit worked, we are ready for the glue up, which is the most stressful part about this. So, gotta work fast. I'm gluing up the sides, and mistake number 3 showed up. I forgot the top rung. Gotta hurry up before the glue dries. Here I'm checking for square, because if it's not square here, it's gonna be a whole lot of trouble later on. Next, I'm working on the shelves. I'm dry fitting it, and I've decided to cut up a whole bunch of these small blocks and fit it in the middle to make my spacing consistent. Okay, let's glue up. I really should have planned the shots better on this one. Kind of shooting off to the edge here. Here's a better shot, I think. Now let's do some sanding. I had to open the door so I had some nice airflow here. But pause the sanding, mistake number 4. I'm jumping steps here. Next I have to actually repair some of the holes in the wood itself. Luckily I saved some of my sawdust from earlier. Now we can really start the sanding. I won't subject you to the whole thing. I know how boring sanding is. Maybe I'll subject you to a little bit more. It's not so bad, is it? I have to actually sand off the edges so that it will have a small round over. This way the edges will be smooth to the touch and you won't get a splinter every time you touch it. Okay, final assembly. Here's where I struggled a little bit. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to do it horizontally or vertically. Here you see me actually trying it vertically. A little bit of glue, trying to clamp it, but the clamp won't stay. So let me try horizontally here. Okay, hey, maybe this actually works out a little bit better. Arg, spoke too soon. Okay, plan C. This time I'm using clamps to keep them together. Hopefully this will work better. This is why they say clamps are a woodworker's friend. And here you will see me start nailing them on. It'll just help the glue stick together. Now, final step. Let's put some stain on it. She likes dark stuff, so well, I guess that solved my uninspired day. It's funny how that works out. You walk into the shop with no plan, and somehow by the end of the day, there's sawdust on the floor and something new in front of you. This little cart ended up being simple, but really solid. I'm a little bit surprised by that. That kind of project reminds me on why I love doing this. Something practical, built from scratch, that actually gets used. So if you ever find yourself feeling uninspired, and maybe just walk into your workshop. Anyway, uh, you don't always need to have a plan, and sometimes you just need to start. If you enjoyed this one, please check out my other builds. I've got plenty of other projects coming up out of this tiny shop. Please press those like and subscribe button. Okay? Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.